Welcome to an exciting 4v4 Kansas River game on Forge Lines Forever. As we can see, the replay is just loading from Zebin. This was a good request by Zebin. I've actually looked at the replay a bit. Obviously, we've got some good players in the match, and we've got some noobs by the sounds of it as well, but we'll have a look now. At the bottom of the 4v4 Kansas River map, we've got on the left-hand side, we've got Zebin, is teammate and clan member Copper, along with Destrofic, and we've got the big little Chili. As we can see, they're all red, orange, purple and white. If we have a look at the top of the map, they are versing Sanya, who's quite good at air on maps like Septum's Clutch and everything else. We've got Terminator on the right hand side, playing at the top. We've got Crag 233, and we've got Burnstreet. Obviously Burnstreet, I've not quite noticed of any of them, but they've all gone for basic starts. If you didn't notice, Terminator decided to go for two factories first, but he cancelled the first one and he started to land factory quickly after that. As we can see in Crag 233, he's going for a quick energy power storage, power storage, and he's going for a hell of a lot of power generators because he's going to be rushing the middle. If we have a look elsewhere, we've got Devovic going for a quick early T1 bomber, who is Aeon, and we've got everyone else expanding as quickly as you can. Obviously, we've got Zebin, who's already got two early scouts out on the left-hand side, and you can see some good, obviously first team's going to go for it. Obviously Zebin's going to be an aggressive defender at the moment. As we can see, we've got Burns, we've got Voxvich's bomber. If we should go and have a look at this, see what this does. If we have a look, as you can see, the bomber is slowly making his way into the enemy's base. Obviously, there's already got a marker there by the four commanders of Zebin and his allies. They want to do a drop there. Obviously, as this map progresses, we'll find out what actually happens. As we can see, obviously the bomber is just stabling on the outskirts of the top right hand side. You've got the T1 engineer, which has just been blown up by the T1 bomber, so obviously that's mission accomplished on number one T1 bomber. Let's have a look elsewhere. As we can see, if we have a look to the overall view of all the allies, of all the enemies, we've got Crag 233 slowly making his way through the middle. He's got a land factory and two power generators planned. He's also using his engineers on attack reclaim. It's a nice little bug, but it's a bug that hasn't been sorted out, but we enjoy that bug, so we leave it. As you can see, we've also got Burn Notice as well, Burnstreet doing the exact same thing with his engineers as well. As we have a look elsewhere, we've got Terminator rushing more T1 land factories. Obviously he's going to go for an early push down the right hand side of the map. As we have a look to see what Chili's doing, Chili is just building power generators around his T1 air factory. Obviously he wants to get quick early air up in the progress, and then he'll go for a nice little death drop. As we can see, we've got a nice T1 bomber coming in from Sanya. I thought he's a good air player, so let's have a look, let's see the progress of this one. As we can see, as his view of him, there we go, the bomber has dropped, but unfortunately he's sadly missed the T1 engineer. Don't know if that was a line of sight problem or the bomber just switching at the last possible moment. As we can see though, we've got three intercepts which have just shot down the bomber. So obviously that's a bad bomber run, no kills, so that's good for Zebin. No mass extractors being shot down or can't be built anymore. As we have a look on the overall observer view again, we have all the top players are actually quickly making a push down the right hand side. As we can see, we've got Terminator slowly moving his ACU along with two engineers reclaiming all the trees and rocks on the right hand side. We've got a nice little attack squadron of three Auroras and two Thistles. Obviously he wants to know what's happening on that hand side. As we can see, on the bottom left hand side, we've got Chili. We've got quite a bit of team playing going on here. We've got Zebin assisting Chili along with Coop. Obviously this is going to be quite an interesting one. This looks like the gun upgrade is going on. We'll find out very soon. No, he's got the tech arm. He's got the tech arm. Oh, so this is going to be an interesting development. As we can see, though, the overall map control is quickly falling in the hands of the team at the top. On the grounds of Burnstreet is building forward land factories, and we've also got Terminator quickly rushing down the right-hand side of the map, which is extremely good. As we have a look down the middle of the map, we've got Craig upgrading his ACU. Let's have a look at see what his income is. Craig's got quite a bit of mass storage coming in. Obviously, he's got all the reclaims that he's doing around the trees. He's got quite a bit of power saved, but obviously that's not going to affect him very much. As we can see, it's almost 50% done. Let's have a look what it could possibly be. Let's have a little zoom. That looks like it's going to be the tech arm on the Cyber ACU of Craig, but we could be wrong, but let's stay tuned. As we can see, overall map control is quickly flowing in the hands of the top team, but early scouts that I was telling you about of Zebin are currently at the top of the map shooting down a T1 mass extractor. So that's quite nice for Zebin to get 2 tanks behind enemy lines. Obviously that is a very, very intelligent move. As we can see, we've got a T1 engineer just about to intercept the two T1 tanks of Zebin, but obviously that's going to get wiped out. As we have a look closer in the base of the enemy, we've got all 4 ACUs have been upgraded, and they're currently rushing T2 air factories, so they've got 2 T2 transports. They're rushing T2 interceptors as well, so obviously they want to cover them backsides. They are going for the drop as earlier stated, so this is going to be quite interesting. Obviously I haven't seen this being played like this, a quick T2 drop of all engineers and ACUs into the enemy's base all at one time. Obviously we've got 2 bombers from Terminator just slowly increasing away at the mass extractors on the right hand side, Djokovic, and on the left hand side of the map we've got Zebin's mass extractors getting destroyed by 4 free stalkers. Obviously that's not going to last very long. As we have a look at that, and it'll be gone in 3, 2, 1, there we go. Obviously that's going to make quick work. As we can see, we've got all the transports already set up with the ACUs. As we can see, the transports are en route. Obviously, we've got superior air cover by all members of the bottom team, but all map control is currently in the top team. So if we have a look and see what happens to this mint transport rush that's going on, obviously we've got A covering all possible routes into the base, so obviously they can't be shot down by interceptors from the air, but they can be shot down by land air. But is that the case? No, it's not. Copper has successfully made it down into the top base. Chile and Dozovic is quickly there to follow. Not left behind, but not far behind. Zebin is currently making his way as well. As we have a look at the map control now, we've got 3 enemy engineers in the top base building T1 point defences. We're building T2, so obviously he wants to spice it up a bit more. And we also see the arrival of Zebin. So obviously never too late for Zebin to get his arse into the action. But obviously Zebin just likes to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. As we can see on the right hand side of the map, we've got Terminator, we're gathering quite a lot of force of Auroras. We've also got Crag with a handful of Mantises raging down the middle on the right hand side. And on the left hand side we've got a couple of Burnstreets tanks, but they're quickly being dealt with by Copper's tanks that are currently in his base. So clearly the land attack of the 4 ACUs in the enemy's base was extremely successful. As we can see, we've got Sanyard, got T2 engineers out. He's obviously building point defences, shields and flak, so obviously he can try and defend against this quite a bit more, but obviously this might not be as intelligent as the top team thinks, because the top team are actually doing the damage. As we can see, all T2 turrets are currently firing at Sanya ACU, so as we can clearly see there, we've got 5 of them now firing. So obviously the ACU drop has been highly successful. Sanya's ACU is down to 1000 health. Obviously, and there it goes. So that's now down, and it's now 4v3. But as unnoticed by the team that did the nice little drop in, we've got 3 ACUs that are out of the base. 2 of them are very close together, building T2 point defences. Craggies, Terminator's not doing very much for his ACU. But on the left-hand side of the map, we've got Burnstreet. He's going for the ACU tech upgrade as well. So obviously, clearly, he's very, very worried about this drop that happened successfully into the base, which has wiped out one of their allies and partners in the game already. As we can see, we've just got carnage going on by Copper's T2 point defences, and we've got Destro's T2 point defences slowly shooting away at Burnstreet's base as well. Obviously, they should have had an early T2 radar, or at least an early T2 radar, and quite a bit of air control to try and block this excellent attack, which has worked out magnificent for the opposing team. But as we look into the bottom base of the opposing team, which did the fantastic T2 ACU drop, we've got 6 monsters currently being shot down by 1 gunship and a couple of bombers. But on the right hand side, we've got a stinger by Chile. Obviously, he's going to try and kill the big massive Aurora fleet of Terminator, which is floated over the sea and is now starting to blast the shitter and smithereens out of Chile's base. So Chile's going to be quite annoyed at this, but just to engineer the worst of all this, we've got a big massive force from Burnstreet coming down on our left hand side of the map. As we overlook at the overall map control, we can see that the base swap has been successful on the top of the map, with the 4 engineers slowly taking over, while the top team, which is now currently on the bottom of the map, has just quite successfully overran their entire original base's defences. Obviously, I don't know if there's any there, because by the efficiency of the attack of the opposing team, it doesn't even look like there was any defences. So obviously, that's going to be in question later in the game. Is why were they so easily overrun? Obviously, if you overrun an enemy base, obviously that's going to be fantastic, but you still don't want to let your main base fall in, because you've got the resources of your mass extractors and your power generators from the hydrocarbon power plant and the original factories that you already had. But clearly this isn't an issue anymore, because we've got Copper and assisting Steven with more T2 point defences just to really wipe the entire base of the front off. As we can clearly see, map control is thoroughly within original top teams, now the bottom base, as we can clearly see. But Terminator is getting his ass kicked in by UEF gunship and an Aeon gunship. Oh, so this is going to be quite close. Can Terminator be able to make it to the sea before he gets shot down? Obviously, we've got two Aeon gunships and 1 UEF gunship, which is knocking down Terminator's health down to 3,700. Obviously, this is not going to be good for Terminator if he can die, but that means it'll successfully be 2v4. But obviously, this is not going to be the case, because Terminator managed to make it into the sea with 2,000 health spare. Now, I would hope they Team 2, which originally was on the bottom, will divert both 3 of their gunships to help defending the original base. Obviously, the more defending they can do, the better veterancy of the gunships and the more interesting it'll get throughout the game, as they get more health and damage and veterancy. As we can see, we've got a quite a little small force of Terminator's artillery currently firing at T-Bin's new base. Also, Chile was just slowly retreating to be able to cover all this. As we can see, Chile is building T1 mass extractors because his main base has been completely overrun, and so has his allies. So obviously, this has been a properly successful attack by the bottom team, clearly overpowering the main base at the front and at the top of the map, and still no answer from Burnstreet Krag or Terminator on how they are going to deal with this enemy invasion, which has been successful. You can say it's more like a surfing attack on the UEF homeworld, because the precision and the timing of the attack was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, which left them powerless to stop it. But obviously, they don't care about that anymore, so they're more focused on the bottom of the map. As we can clearly see, the gunship that just went down had 21 kills. Obviously, clearly vetted, but obviously not highly regarded by the owner of Chile. But that doesn't matter anymore, because the bottom base is now completely gone. So as we stand so far in map control, the original top team has the entire map apart from the main base. But in the interest of reclaiming mass extractors and taking them over, there is quite a bit still unreclaimed. As we can see clearly in the middle, we've got 4 mass extractors just still not claimed, and the hydrocarbon power plant. So obviously this will be a great income boost if they actually did get it. But as we can see, Terminator is more bothered about reclaiming and building a new land factories at the bottom. So because clearly he wants to build his base as fast as he can, get the units back up, and start shoving a new arsehole in the team that attacked his main base. As we see at the top right hand side of the map, we have a little small force of Destros attacking Terminator, but Terminator has decided to just do that and do it harder and more style. Clearly, this is working a treat, because Destro is currently retreating his units fantastically. Obviously, he doesn't want to lose them all, because he wants to keep them. The more units he has in his base, the more he can push, drive down Terminator's units. And as we can see, just at the top middle of the right hand base, of the top base, we can see a little engineer of Terminator. But we can also see a nice 8-man squadron of Seraphim artillery. And Seraphim artillery, if you get caught by them, will do a whole world of pain on your sorry ass. They also do a hell of a lot of pain on engineers, which just stray from the path of the existence. As we can see, we've got Krag with hoplites in, so we've got 2 hoplites just stopping everything, but we've got T2 and mass extractor, which is currently getting shot. As we can see in the distance, we've got the hoplites currently attacking the artillery, but the artillery don't care anymore. They're going after the T2 mass extractor of Chads. Obviously, if he can take that down, that's a 6+ income wiped out on Krag's on his resources, and clearly that will hinder him. Not much, but it'll do quite a bit of damage. As we have a look back over the overall map control, we can see that Terminator is successfully reclaiming the bottom base, which used to be Zebin's base and his entire allies, but Zebin and his allies have done quite a quick job on the top base. They've not only fortified it with T2 point defences, but they're also upgrading the land factory to T2. Obviously this is going to be a very interesting game. As we can clearly see, it hasn't been interesting, but Copper's already building buzzkills. Obviously he knows that an impending artillery attack is incoming. Obviously he wants to deal with that as quickly as possible. As we look at the top left hand side of the map, we've got 6 strikers, lonely and needing company, and Destro is very willing to give them company in the form of Aeon Auroras, and they're going to get wiped out because strikers have no chance against Auroras that fly over the sea. As we have a look just under the main base, at the top base, we've got quite a bit of unit gathering going on by Burnstreet. But Burnstreet, just outside where his new main base is now, he's got a T2 land factory, he's got a T2 air factory, and he's building scouts. Obviously he wants to go and find and kill, hunt down with extreme prejudice the entire team that took over his main base. But that plan just gone to hell, as Zebin is just transported in, took over all main control. But what he doesn't know is there's a T2 tactical missile launcher just underneath Burnstreet's ACU. 2 missiles loaded. Will they launch and kill Zebin? I don't think so, because Zebin has got T2 point defences up now. So this is going to be quite interesting. Burnstreet decided to go to T2 bombers. Obviously, I wouldn't have decided to go to T2 bombers unless you had full map control, of air control. I'd go try and get gunships up to try and destroy the T2 point defences that Zebin currently has, and shooting at his air factory. As we look elsewhere on the map, nothing much is interesting apart from this current attack by Zebin with point defences. Obviously, point defences are very useful in the game if you want to turtle or if you want to become quite attacking. As we can see, the T2 air of Burnstreet was successfully completed but successfully wiped out off the face of the earth. Due to the fact is that there's too many T1As of Zebins and it couldn't do enough damage to the current T1A that's currently orbiting Burnstreet's base. But Burnstreet is reacting late to this. That's been a good 3 minutes of Zebin attacking Burnstreet's new base, and now he's finally decided to bring his force in, but not all of his force, only a bit of his force, which is quite interesting. I would have thought he'd try and locate and kill Zebin's ACU with extreme prejudice and quite quickly, but to put a new attack floor in the plan, let's have a look who's just arrived. Chopper's just arrived. As we can see on the screen, Terminator has left, so now it is officially 2v4. We're not quite sure by the thing, but it looks like it was a disconnect. Looking at the chat on the screen, which is quite a bit of a shame. But as we can see at the top of the map, we've got Zebin currently in high retreat, and his SCU on 16 kills. Chopper doesn't have the gun upgrade, which would help him both in this situation. But to make even matters worse, for Burnstreet, Destro has decided to join the fight. So obviously now, it's not just one ACU, it's not just 2 ACUs, it's 3 ACUs on the verge of Burnstreet's base. This is becoming quite interesting little fight. We've got quite a gathering of T1 units. So there we go, we've got a T2 bomber in the air by Burnstreet. Obviously this is going to be quite interesting, but Destro is quite good at overcharging the T1 units, and are currently being wiped out. So that's going quite well for the relocated base swaps idiots, or should we say geniuses in this matter. As we have a look at the top of the fighting, we've got Zebin's SU has been shot down by UEF artillery, and he's now down to 2,500 health. But we've got units of Burnstreet all around that area. As we have a look elsewhere, we've just got a little charge by Chile. Obviously Chile's going to start cooking some Aeon. Obviously he wants some food. So this is going to be quite interesting. Chile's now starting to push down the right hand side, while we've got 3 SCUs fighting for Zebin's life on the left hand side of the map. Obviously Zebin doesn't know how to overcharge correctly because he's stuck down on 1,300 health. A couple more direct hits by the artillery and his ACU is kaboom and dust. But there's a lot of units around where Burnstreet is, but Burnstreet is just still sat there with his ACU. Obviously this is quite interesting, but as we can see, all 3 ACUs are now retreating back. As we can see, but there's a UEF T2 gunship in the air, and it's attacking Zebin's ACU. Zebin is on the retreat and dodging it. He isn't dodging it well, but he's getting T1A up, so obviously that gunship won't be in the air for much longer. But will it last the attack of Zebin's ACU? Yes, it will, because there is T1 interceptors coming in to kill it, which has just happened. See, Zebin has got away with his life again on 1,500 health. So this is quite interesting. Now we've got Chile. We've got Chile on our right hand side of the map building flak. Obviously he doesn't want to get gunshipped either. We've got the two ACUs, Chopper and Zebin currently retreating back to the base, while Destro is currently reclaiming this area again from the attack of Burnstreet's T1 land. Obviously this is clearly helping the route of Zebin and pushing. As we can see, there's quite a bit of Auroras and artillery currently attacking the what used to be the backbones of Burnstreet's base. But it's not anymore. As we can see though, Krag is getting really bored trying to attack the front, and he's starting to build T2 artillery to blast the enemy out into submission. As we can clearly see, we got T2 Seraphim bombers currently taking out his flak unit, which he's done successfully. Chile is now on the retreat after building a T1 point defence and walling it off successfully. Obviously that protects the point defence from damage from Manus's, but Manus ain't bothered about that. Manus are just letting focus on the ACU of Chile. But Chile's getting bombarded by the free artillery units. Soon to be from the artillery units in Krag's main base. So this is going to be interesting. Can Chile do enough damage with his ACU and get veterans again and survive the attacks of the artilleries? We will wait and find out. As we can clearly see, map control is back in the hands of the top base, that used to occupy the top base, shall I state, because of the massive and highly successful 4SU drop just on the outskirts of their main base, which resulted in killing Sanya. So clearly, this fight is not over yet. As we can see, Chile is slowly destroying the land units that are currently where his ACU is. Obviously he wants to get vetted up a bit more. If we have a look and see what happens over at Burnstreet. Burnstreet has built another T2 shield, along with just 3 T2 point defences. So obviously he's hoping that's going to do some damage. As we can clearly see, he's putting his SC in his land factory in T3 production. Obviously he thinks that's going to be the only way to win this. But he does have 4 T2 gunships on the loose, but he doesn't have the air control to use them. Obviously, in this case, the air control is clearly going towards the original bottom bases of Zebin, Chopper, Destro and Chile. So obviously we have a really good game on our hands, which is turned into a kind of pick off. It's kind of turned into a divide and conquer now at the moment, because we've got Krag is at the bottom of the map, where Chile used to be, and we've got Burnstreet is in his new forward base, just underneath his original base. Now he's building T2 point defence, just further advance of his main base. Obviously he wants to have an early warning system put into place here, which is clearly going to be doing the treat, because they will be shooting at like engineers, which is currently reclaiming. There we go. Obviously the engineer just got blown out with smithereens. As we can clearly see now, we have the T2 bombers of Zebin currently being quickly destroyed by the quite a large amount of T1 anti-air guns of Burnstreet. So obviously they are now coming in handy at the moment. But the problem is, even though Burnstreet does have the map control, he isn't holding it. He isn't doing his best to hold it. He isn't rushing more land to try and cope with this assault that is currently being undertaken. As we look just below the main base of the new relocated base, we've got the tactical missiles which have been quite successfully been getting killed by the artillery. So obviously we've also got Chile with his ACU moving in and killing any point defences that are existent. There we go. We've got 3 T2 Cybermen point defences, slowly taking away Chile's health, but Chile's been vetted 4 times. No, he's been vetted 3 times and he's on the verge of being vetted again. He just needs 5 more kills and he's overcharging the point defences, which won't last very long. As we can clearly see though, Krag is building bricks in the bottom base of his new relocated base, and he's also heavily assisting the T1 Air factory. Obviously, he's also building more T1 engineers out of 7 land factories just below the air factory. So clearly, this is going to be quite an interesting air fight. Obviously, we've got Chile moving his new air. He's now moving his air down. He's obviously going for the scout. He wants to know where the enemy is, so he can kill him. We've also got a big, massive unit. Obviously, there we go. We've got Drestro's now building a T2 land factory, or he has built it and successfully creating mobile missile launchers and anti-air. Obviously, because he's well aware of the 3 4-gun ships, and Burnstreet is now building another T2 power generator. Obviously, this isn't going to plan out very nicely with the enemy. As we can see, the map control is slowly landing in Z Burnstreet's favour. Obviously, this is what he planned from the beginning when he did the 4 ACU drop, which was highly successful. As we can clearly see, though, they're just trying to finish the rest of the team off on the rest of the map so they can get full map control. Once he gets full map control, we'll start issuing full problems, but the problem is now, there are bricks being put out by Krag, and them bricks will do quite a bit of damage to anything that comes anywhere near it, unless it's an EXP, which is an experimental, sorry about that, which is an experimental, or Harbingers. And Harbingers are really, really nice in this game, because they'll just drop them in, like they did their own ACUs, and blow them all to smithereens. As we can see though, we've got Drestro's moving the bulk of his T1 land, which he's been creating, back to the base of where he originally started. So obviously he wants to try and reclaim that as fast as possible. At the moment there's not much going on apart from Burnstreet not doing much with his unit. He has got 3 T3 units up. Obviously not enough to take out the entire T1 army. That Destro is currently deploying down to the bottom of the map where they used to occupy. As we can clearly see, we got T2 fighters coming in. Obviously no, he's changed his mind, but we do have the T1 air army of Chile, of Krag coming in to kill. And here we go. We've got a nice little air fight on our hands. Obviously, and in that air fight, Krag has lost all of his air units. So now he is completely powerless for the air units. As we can see though, we've got T2 bombers slowly powering over the enemy's new base. But We do have successful land in the bottom of the base, but he's not. Weirdly enough, Crag isn't using his T3 T3 bricks to move down to the bottom bottom left hand side of the map and kill the Auroras, which he will do with ease quite quickly, which is quite a surprise. I must say. As we can see, Burnstreet is building a couple of buzzkills to stop the anti-attack missiles from coming in. We also have Chopper slowly creeping forward with T2 point defences, so that's clearly going to be helping the resurrection of the shield going down, so that you can have the T2 bombers that are currently assaulting the bricks at the bottom. Obviously the bottom team that used to occupy the top hasn't got much teamwork going at the moment, as we can clearly see, because Chili's finally and eventually noticed the assault at the bottom of the map. Obviously, if that was my team member, I'd be pinging it like mad and trying to tell him to move your units, help me out here. They've killed 3 of my mexes, and you want me to help you, but you're not helping me, so now that's happened, let's see what this bottom team can do. But at the moment, it's pretty firmly in the hands of Destro, Chopper, Zebin and Chili, as it is 4v2, but that shouldn't matter because the 2 players would have the combined income of same as Destro and Burnstreet. But clearly that ain't the case, and as we have a look at the top right hand side of the map, you can clearly see that Destro has got the most points, but Chili has got the biggest income of 152 on mass, but Destro's got the biggest power income. Obviously, Chili was reclaiming the units that have been assaulted by his land, which has been very much successful. As we look at the bottom of the map, we do know about what's happening at the top. It's just the same old stuff. It's Burnstreet just getting shot. Burnstreet is affecting himself, so let's have a look at the income. Burnstreet is just bordering on the edge of running out of mass. Destro's doing the same, but he's doing it quite fluently, shall I say. As we can see, we've got the 3 bricks currently firing at the huge attack army at Chili's. Obviously, Chili's just wants to really annoy the bottom base now by attacking him, but Destro's going to do one better. He's not just going to annoy him, he's going to absolutely piss them off by using the Auroras to kill any outstanding engineers that aren't in the assisting mode of the T3 factory or anything else. But, as we can just see on the right hand side of the map, unfortunately I missed it, Crag has just been killed by Surf and T2 bombers. They are quite effective in numbers 10 plus on an ACU. So obviously Crag didn't see it coming because there is no radar at the bottom team. But now it's all Burnstreet. Burnstreet's the only one that's left, and as we can clearly see, he's getting his ass kicked quite quickly and quite effectively by the enemy of all 4 ACUs and their armies. So if we go back into observer mode, as we can clearly see, top team now has full map control. There's only a small base of Burnstreet at the bottom, but obviously Burnstreet doesn't know how to deal with the nice incoming assault of a hell of a lot of mobile missile launchers. There's 28 mobile missile launchers currently walking in to Burnstreet's bottom base. So obviously the any units at the bottom of that base isn't going to put up a fight against 28 mobile missile launchers because they're just going to get wiped out. As we can clearly see though, the land factory is now more than down to half health. So clearly then the mobile missile launchers are absolutely knocking Burn's base to to the ground. Obviously, as we can clearly see, he's using his gunships to help defend his base, but Burnstreet does have T3 in the air. Obviously, he's trying to help. He's trying to gain a bit of air control, just over his base at least, but obviously, even gaining a bit of air control, you've just got no chance because there's that many T1 interceptors up. And even if he didn't manage to get in air control at this time, there's not much he would be able to do unless he could really build a lot of bombers, a lot of gunships, and successfully attack one of the enemy's ACUs, which might cause a chain reaction of everyone else, but highly unlikely because everyone else is just more highly powered than everywhere else. As we can clearly see, just under Burn's base, we've got some T3 units being positioned, ready for the kill. Obviously, Burnstreet's going for a T3 power plant, but it's actually quite useless as he uses Percy just to detour copper just a little bit, as well as the T3 point defense. It's doing quite a bit of detouring. As we look just under the bottom of the base, we've got Burnstreet is actually now giving up because he's moving towards the three T3 units. His health is getting taken off quite quickly. 7,000 health, 6,000, 5,000, 4,000, 3,000. He's gave up now. But this has been a very interesting game. Clearly, this is one big way of playing Kansas River 4v4. Obviously, I've never seen it done this way quite effectively, or even all 4 ACUs managing to make it back to the actual base of the enemy, which was quite amazing. I have to give my hat off to the team of Chile, Dresso, Zebin and Chopper on this, because that's one nice way of really mixing the play up. Thank you for watching the cast. Obviously, this is the first one I've done for a while, but obviously I'll be able to do a few more now. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you all very, very soon.